At 37-20, Baker got that deal done and still balling. You know, he bounced around, but he's found a home here in Tampa Bay, and they find a win in Week 1. You know, it's great to watch Baker Mayfield play football in any jersey, and we've had to do that over the last few years. But last year, found like he found his home, and then they sort of reciprocate that feeling, the front office there in Tampa Bay. And Baker, no signs of slowing down. What has made this such a perfect fit of player and place, the talent group around Baker as well?
I think it's a good mix of a positive culture along with high energy people that fits Baker's football DNA.
I get what you're saying.
He's a high energy individual, and they allow him to be who he wants to be on and off the football field. And I think he really appreciates that because there's no filter for Baker. When you look at Baker, he's a very, very emotional guy. He's animated. He gets involved in the ball game, and whenever he's able to be that way, he's at his best. He's playing comfortable football, and today you got to put some respect on his name. I mean, 289 yards, 4 touchdowns. He found his best friend in Mike Evans twice in the end zone. I mean, he was having a day today. And they played against a very, very, you know, unknown offense defensively with Jayden Daniels. And I can tell you this much. They lost today, but Jayden Daniels is going to be a problem for a lot of defenses moving forward with his dual threat mentality.
He is going to be a problem, but so too might this defense for the Commanders. We've made so much about the addition here on the offensive end, and you can only tend to so many things at once. When you're drafting that early, you're taking care of the quarterback. You gave away some edge pieces at the end of last season around the deadline. I'm not going to ask you if this team can be competitive at a playoff level, but can they be competitive enough to keep Jayden Daniels engaged on the offensive end? If it's this much defensive football and them getting run up the score on, can you get Daniels into the looks you want if the defense isn't holding up their end of the bargain?
See, that was my concern before the season. I feel like offensively they're going to have pieces in place to be able to be competitive, but defensively, the back end specifically, can they get the necessary stops? Like I said, if you look at Baker's number, high-level play from Baker Mayfield, and when they weren't playing with sound coverage, penalties was an issue for the Commanders in the back end. So the secondary has to perform better, but if you want to help the secondary out, go get some pressure. Find a way to put pressure on these opposing quarterbacks, because I don't care what personnel you have in the back end, the names, the household name-like players, if you're not putting pressure on these high-level quarterbacks, they're going to have issues, and we saw that today. Once upon a time, the Commanders had a long laundry list of high-profile players that put their hand in the dirt, that put pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Most of those guys are no longer there, right? So now you got to find a way to get that same production you would like to have to kind of take some of the pressure off the guys that played in the secondary.
The point being, one feeds the other, especially when you have a rookie quarterback. That complementary football is required. You saw defense in Chicago do it for their guy, and then for the 2 other rookies, maybe not the defensive push that they needed to get the win here in Week 1.